but when you're asked that question, it's just so random. So it was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like well, Tara can. Okay, here's another thing too that we hadn't talked about. So no one could understand or explain the connection and the attraction that these two had for one another. We really don't get it. To this moment, we still don't get it. We talked about it, we joked about it, no. Tara was considered to be successful, not just attractive, but successful by all accounts. What does that mean, Kai? When you think of success, I'm counting dollar signs here. One, two, three, four. Is that what you get? Pretty much money, And so 5, 6, 7. So she was successful. So she basically had the means to buy a beautiful home for herself, and not just for herself, but for her new husband. Why not? I trust you. I love you. So I say, you don't have anything. You don't have anything to bring to me except the fact. As a matter of fact, Kai, what did you even have to? Okay, I've got to go here. What do you suppose that her husband, Stephen Grant, could bring to the table? I thought it was attractive. That's just my opinion. Everyone else said no. So besides that?
You think he's attractive? I wouldn't go as far as saying he's attractive.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that, but that's just my opinion, so go ahead.
No, he's not attractive. I mean, he's not hideously ugly, but he's not attractive. And then he's like socially awkward. And, he tries to cover that up by being a braggart, which who likes that? And, I could see why it's like the cheerleader type going out with the skinny goth guy who sits in the corner and yells at the wall. Everybody's like, why is she with him? So I can see that. But then they didn't know what he was telling her. So in her mind, she's thinking that what he can bring to the table, like I said, is he's trying to go into politics and he wants to be a lawyer. So not saying she was going after the money, but she thought it was going to be somebody on her same level.
Oh, so you think that was she hoodwinked or led astray, bamboozled?
Yeah, of course.
But I don't think that. I think that she just assumed because of the fact that he always had a dream.
She didn't assume because he said he wanted to be a lawyer. He said he wanted to be in politics. He said this is the stuff that he's going to be pursuing. Plus, he was working in a political office. So if you're saying all of this and you're actually in that place working, then it looks like you're on your way to achieving your goals.
Yeah, but Kai, he did not. But my point is, how did he hoodwink this woman when he simply said, these are my dreams? I don't understand how there's a problem. Because, okay, listen.
First of all, they're in college. Everybody has dreams at that time. Just because you went to college to be a doctor doesn't mean you're actually going to be a doctor. But what are you supposed to be like? Well, you're just in college to be a doctor. I don't have a guarantee that that's what you're going to do. I won't get with you until after college and make sure that you have that money. Like, seriously?
Okay, but you know what?
No, he was in college just like her. But the thing is, his dream was to be a lawyer and in politics. And he's already working in the political scene. So it looks like he's taken the steps needed to achieve said dreams.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that we should go a little further in the story and figure out if he ever did achieve those dreams at all. Because you're absolutely right. That those were at the time in college. And I think it's good. College is amazing because it's definitely good. It's a nurturing experience because you have an opportunity to embrace your dreams. Someone's actually supporting you with it. I don't mean your parents. Of course, that would be great. But your counselors, your teachers, the entire environment is supporting what you want to pursue. And that's important. That's everything towards, your goal. So let's pick it up from there. So now Tara was considered to be successful, like we talked about before, by any account. That means money. She had the means to buy a beautiful home for herself and her new husband. And believe it or not, this included expensive vacations and often. How romantic is that to go to the Bahamas at will, Puerto Rico at will, Mexico, if you will, let's just Hawaii.
I don't call that romance. I wouldn't call that romance, but everybody's different.
Well, would describe romance in your life and opinion. What would you
I
say?
mean, just because you have enough money to go on vacation, that's not romantic. You just happen to have enough money to go on vacation. That's not romantic.
Kai, in most people's average city, there may or may not be. We just talked about a small town. In my small town, the biggest, most exciting thing to do was look at lowrider cars and cars that have been
I
pimped out,
understand that, but
classic cars.
just
So,
because
so
you
then
can afford
therefore,
to go on vacations every year doesn't mean that's romantic. You can go on vacation, just like our last episode. You can go on vacation and cheat your ass off on your spouse. Just because you're on vacation is romantic? No, you just happen to have money to be able to afford vacation. That's not the romantic part. It's how you treat your significant other that's romantic.
okay, okay, because you can do that every day. I agree with that. But it does provide an environment. I mean, the person that cheated on their spouse every day, well, during the vacation, I should say, doesn't mean they weren't romantic during the course of the vacation. They were just fake. Do you have to really
Yeah.
wonder who you're with? You know, you have to know who you're with, I should say, right? I mean, well,
Well, you're saying that Tara was able to buy a house and everything, but what's Steve doing at this time?
that's the whole point. He did not have an opportunity to begin his career at all. She had already started making all this money. She was already going towards very quickly success. In fact, here's the thing, listen to this. Never mind the expensive vacations they took together that she funded, okay? It's kind of like, you know how many relationships were, and there's not a lot like this, but she was the breadwinner, the sole provider. He had big dreams. He even went to college too. There's no reason in the world that her husband would not have been able to achieve those dreams and make money and be successful as she was.
There's a lot of reasons in the world. Just because you went to college doesn't mean everything's going to work out well for you, especially if he's socially awkward. She's outgoing, so she knows exactly like how to speak to people. If you're socially awkward, you could be really clamming up in an interview or whatever. So there are a lot of reasons that just because he went to college, he just because somebody else went to the same college as you and they ended up on a better path doesn't mean you can be like, well, you know, she had all the same opportunities as her. There's no reason in the world. No, there's a lot of reasons. You don't know what was going on.
Well, that's true.
Not that.
That's true. But what I mean is that what if you come into the relationship, Kai, and the significant other is already successful? That's where I'm going with this. I get what you're
Well, he didn't
saying.
come into the relationship and she was
Yes, he
successful at
did.
that time. He
Yes, he
was
did.
actually, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. She was still in college when he came into the relationship. He was actually more successful, quote unquote, than her at the time of the relationship because he was working in a position of, for somebody so young, a position of quote unquote power. He wasn't really in power, but he was working in a Senate office. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't working in a significant role at the time. However, um, in around 95, so that was the next year, he got a job with his dad because his dad owned a store, and so his dad gave him a job. And then that year she started working at an engineering firm. So that's what happened. That's after they're already together. He had already proposed to her. He proposed to her in 94, and after that she got a job at an engineering firm. And actually when she got that job, it was actually a temp job.
Yeah, but it was temp to perm and it turned perm, didn't it? Because she started,
And it wasn't
isn't it?
temp to perm, it was temp, but years and years later it turned to perm because she was doing a really good job. And at the job she was really moving up. So she got this job in 95, and he's working at his dad's store, and he's still saying, I'm going to still try and be in politics and everything like that, but they're just at different jobs right now. He's working for his dad, she's working in an engineering firm, but they continued on with their relationship, and a year later they got married and moved into their own apartment, and then the year after that they were able to afford their own house. And everything was going well. She's moving up in the company and everything like that.
Well,
And in the next couple of
how
years,
do you explain that? Okay, explain this part. When she started working Monday through Friday, flying back and forth from Detroit.
wait. So let me just tell you. So then, so like they moved into their own house, and then the children started coming. So they had a daughter, they had a son, and all this time she's still trying to reach her goal of making a certain amount of money. So she's still working for this engineering firm, and they're seeing how good of a job she's doing, even with the time off, like giving birth to a son, giving birth to a daughter, because you have maternity leave and everything like that. Even with time off, she was still doing an amazing job in her position. So in 2003, they actually promoted her to a system manager. Um, and when she got that raise, with that raise came more money. And she's still not full time there, but she did get a promotion. And at that time, that's when they started invested in au pairs. So, an au pair is a nanny, but it's usually like somebody from overseas or something. So they started getting au pairs so that he can go and work and he can try and do what he said he was trying to do, which was attain his dreams. And they still had somebody at home to take care of the children, because before that, he was just like basically a stay at home dad. Not that he was, a bad dad. He was actually a really good dad. He loved his kids, but he still wanted to attain his dreams. So that's where the au pair came in. And then what happened was in 2006, that's when she got a full-time position. And with that full-time position, that was in Puerto Rico. So they were like, we have this excellent opportunity for you. It's a full-time position with the company. You don't have to be temp anymore, but the position is in Puerto Rico. However, it is paying $168,000 a year. So she went ahead and took that opportunity. I mean, that was the money that she was working towards all this time. That was the position she was working towards all this time.
That's a
And
lot.
while
That's a lot of
she's
money. That's good. It's amazing.
Yeah, and while she's continuing to do this and do better and achieve her goals, I mean, Steve is still like at his dad's company.
Okay, well,
Between working for his dad
but
and
how
being a
often
stay-at-home dad.
was she travel? You said Puerto Rico, so what was her schedule like? How often was she traveling back and forth to Puerto Rico then?
So she worked Monday through Friday. It was a full-time job. She worked Monday through Friday, so she would be in Puerto Rico from Monday through Friday, and then she
Hmm.
would catch the plane on like Friday evening and come home for
Yeah,
Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday, and then go back to Puerto Rico on Sunday.
oh my God, that's crazy. I mean, would you put is that something that you would in your own opinion would you put up with something like that, or would you feel like it's like too much, or
I mean, personally, if it was me with that position, I'm moving my family. I don't see why I'm wasting money flying back and forth, or even if the company's paying for it, I'm still away from my kids too long. So personally, I'm moving my whole family. Like, I mean, literally, Steven, you don't have a job, so let's go. Like, there's nothing holding you here. I could understand if he had like this high profile lawyer job and he couldn't really move or whatever, but you're working for your dad at your dad's store, which he doesn't really need you. So let's pack up the kids and let's just move to Puerto Rico. You know, that's what I would do. If it was my husband doing that, and there was a reason why I didn't want to go to Puerto Rico, like I just didn't want to go to Puerto Rico, and he was like, "All right, well, I'll just fly back and forth." Then I guess he putting up with it. I mean, I guess if that's what he wants to do, and he's making good money, and he's not stressed out, and it's a job he loves, and I'm pretty sure he's not cheating on me, then yeah, sure, I'm good with it.
so you would just be flexible, like okay, it's I mean, okay, let me ask you this.
I
Would
mean, what
you
would you do? Hold on. Let me ask you. So if your husband was making 168,000 a year, and it was a job in Puerto Rico, and for some reason you couldn't move with him to Puerto Rico, I don't know, for some odd reason you couldn't get up off your ass and move with him to Puerto Rico, you would give him flack about it?
well, it's not an odd reason, Kai. It's really far away, and life is quite different. There's a lot of adjustments. It's not an odd reason. It's not like he said, let's move to Texas. I mean, it's a whole different world. There's a lot of reasons for that not
It's
to work.
Puerto Rico. You're
There's
still
the
in the United
language.
States.
There's the culture. It's the United
And
States
crap, you
territory.
learn Spanish, and people in Puerto Rico speak English too.
Yeah, but
It's not like you're just.
it's United States territory. So a good amount of people speak English, but plenty of people don't speak English. Period.
Okay, plenty of people in the mainland don't speak English. What's the difference?
What mainland? You mean there or
The
here?
mainland here, the United States.